Hello chess friends, this is Nazmican. In this video we will analyze one of the games of the former world chess champion Gary Kasparov, which belongs to the early days of his chess career. Playing his favorite Najdorf variation, Kasparov ran into rough weather against Bulgarian Grandmaster Krum Georgiev. In this game, Krum Georgiev obtained an almost winning position after the opening with the help of his great home preparation. And he didn't give his legendary opponent even a slightest chance to fight back. Okay, let's go to the moves. Krum Georgiev is playing white and Gary Kasparov is black. This game was played in the Malta Chess Olympiad in the year of 1980. White opens the game with the move e4, c5, Sicilian defense, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, and Kasparov goes for his favorite variation, Najdorf. And now white opts for the ever popular and the sharpest try in the Najdorf variation with the move bishop g5 here. Kasparov responds with e6, and the move regaining popularity in this position is knight bd7, but this is another story. e6, f4, queen c7, main line still, queen f3, b5, and long castles. In this position, nowadays, white players opts for the slight advantage with takes and play a3. Idea is that after long castling, white will prepare a f5 move in order to create weaknesses in the center and fixing black's structure, which is weakened with the previous exchange on f6. So black players generally prefer the move knight bd7 in this position in order to support the knight and prepare the move b5 in the future. And the main line goes like this: bishop d3, b5, rook h, e1, bishop b7, queen g3, b4, and this is the tabia position for the bishop g5 line, and this has been tested since 1960s, and the conclusion has yet to be told. So after queen f3, b5, long castles was played. And Kasparov played the move b4, forcing white to decide what to do at the early stage of the game. He can also play other moves to transpose the previous lines, but he's trying to do something forcing here. And Georgiev is up for the challenge. He counterattacks the knight and the rook here. Defends and counterattacks the queen. And now Georgiev played the move knight cb5, sacrificing a knight in order to attack the king in the center. Black is forced to take, otherwise if bishop takes here, then white will remain in piece up after, let's say, knight f3, and he will take on f6 if black takes. So black has to take, a takes b5, bishop takes b5, and Kasparov played the move knight fd7. Kasparov retreats his knight, but players like Vashyar Lakarov, one of the main Najdorf players nowadays, prefer the move knight bd7, queen h3, and it's hard to protect this e6 pawn, so black creates a counterattack trying to deflect white pieces, namely the knight or the queen. Queen takes b3 and bishop d5, now attacking the queen, c4 and knight e4. When I check the database, black has a good score after this position, so probably knight bd7 is a better alternative to the Kasparov's knight fd7. And now Krum Georgiev played a stunning move, but which is still theory here. He played the move knight e6. Of course, Queen is untouchable because knight c7 mates this time. So he has to take. F takes e6. Queen h3. And now it's hard to protect this point. Let's say bishop d5 can be met by rook d5, and which is followed by queen takes e6 and mate. So Kasparov is forced to play king f7. And now White's idea continues. White shouldn't give his opponent time to organize his forces, and he has to act quickly in order to make use of this weakened king in the center by opening up the files. So Kasparov played the only move, bishop e4 here. After, let's say, knight takes e5, White is winning after f takes e, king g8 and e7. White will follow up with queen e6 and rook hf1. So bishop e4, the only move, was played here. Black is threatening mate. F takes e6, check. King g8 only move. If, let's say, king g6, then there's a strong move, bishop d3. Attacking the bishop, he has to take. And even after White is down 3 pieces, he's still mating his opponent. Because now, a sad choice here, king h6 lead to mate after queen e3, and followed by queen g5. Else, king f4, queen f3 check, takes, and this is mate here. So Kasparov played on no, king g8, and now Krum Georgiev's home preparation, queen b3, was played here. White's idea is to protect c2, and he's creating the threat of discover attack with the e-pawn. And for this reason, Kasparov played the move bishop c2 and forces the exchange of queens. But let's check what happens after the move knight c5. And now amazing complications arise after this move. White is forced to play queen c4, creating the same threat. d5, forced move. And if White wants to do something, he has to take on d5 with the rook. Knight takes e6, trying to exchange the queens. And computer gives an amazing move here, which is very instructive too. Rook c5. This rook can be taken in 2 ways. Of course, queen takes c5 is immediately losing after queen takes e6 mate. So he has to play the move bishop takes c5, queen takes e6, check. Of course, king f8 leads to mate in 1 after queen e8. So he has to play queen f7, queen c8 check. Of course, queen c8 leads to mate after bishop c4 and mate next move after bishop d5. So bishop f8 is forced. And bishop c4, securing this bishop d5, only move. e6, again a strong move, threatening to take on queen. Queen f5, pinning this e6 pawn and attacking g5. And White simply ignores the threats and play the move e7. Of course, this is checked by the computer, and Black is losing here. He cannot take on c8 because there is bishop d5, a mate here. And queen takes g5 with check, king b1. White is threatening to take on f8, which is mate here. He cannot take with the queen because bishop d5 is winning. So knight d7 has to be played. And it's still not easy to win as it seems, but there is another strong move, e8 queen. And it seems that black can take here, but again, there's an amazing mate here with the move queen e6. I found it pretty amazing how complicated lines happen here, and I really wonder to which extent Krum Georgiev prepared at home. But Kasparov played the move bishop takes c2, forcing the exchange of queens. Takes, 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 and knight takes e5. Black is up a piece for the moment, but after e7, white takes his piece back and remains a pawn up after knight b6. Bishop takes d6, and now for the moment the complications are over and white is a pawn up. He has the bishop pair in an opposite position, so the game is decided. White is a queenside pawn majority, and his idea is to create passed pawn and attack black's weak pawn on b4. So the game is about being over, but Kasparov is trying to fight back. Rook a5, attacking the bishop. Of course, rook takes a2 is a blunder because of we can take and say check here, winning the rook. So rook a5 was played. Georgiev played the move rook d5, allowing black to fork with takes, takes, and knight d4, because after king b1, white regains his piece back with the move bishop e5, and there arises this minor piece situation, which is better for white, because in an open board, bishop is better than knight, and king f7, centralizing the king rook c1, king e6, rook c5, and smooth technical task for Georgiev here, centralizing his king, rook f8, trying to penetrate to second rank, bishop d4, rook f1, rook e5, king b7, bishop c5, attacking the weak pawn on b4 and threatening rook d5, king c6, and now white creates two passed pawns on the queen side. Of course, cannot take here because there is rook e6 with the simplification, knight b7, rook g5, protecting g2, and after some more moves, slowly but surely, white is preparing the bitter end. Bishop c3, rook takes g2. Of course, white is winning, so he has taken h7. I'm just showing the game for the sake of completeness. Rook d2, protecting, rook h3. Even Kasparov cannot do anything for black here because it's dead lost. Knight f5, bishop e5, protecting h2, e3, bishop b8, protecting g6, rook g4, knight e7, bishop g3, knight c6, a4 check, king c5, b3, sorry, okay, king a3, 6 b3, king d5, g5 check, king e4, rook c5, rook e6, a5, and it soon ended with white's win. After knight d2, rook c3 check, king e2, and after king a4, Kasparov resigned. A remarkable game, very nice home preparation for white, and this shows some tactical motifs in the Najdorf Sicilian in a specific variation of that b4 line. I hope you like it, and see you in the next